Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for the Week 6 Monday Night Football slate. We do have another doubleheader this Monday night, so we got two games, Falcons and Bills, and then we have another game, Commanders and Bears. A two-game slate for Monday night. Got two plays I like for these games. We're going to give out a prop from each game. We'll talk about a prop first in the Bills-Falcons game, and then we'll talk about a play that I like in the Commanders and Bears game. But yeah, guys, I always enjoy these double headers, so we're going to talk through these two plays, give out some reasoning, some analysis on why I like these plays. And before we do that, make sure that you guys hit that like button down below if you enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, make sure that you go sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code. And play $5, you're going to get $50 of free lineups just for signing up and using code NOAH. And then we also do have a partnership with Sleeper, so I do want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper. You guys can go download the Sleeper app, use promo code NOAH over there, get your first deposit matched up to $100. You're also going to get a free $20 entry just for signing up and using code NOAH. So if you looked here on the screen, if you look to my left, you're getting a free $20 entry just for signing up. You don't have to make a deposit. Sleeper, they're trying to get new users in. They're trying to bring people into the site. By doing this, they're going to give you a free $20 entry just for downloading the Sleeper app and using code NOAH. And then if you win any money off that entry, that's going to be money that you can use to try and start to build up your bankroll over on Sleeper. So definitely give Sleeper a try, guys. Go download that Sleeper app. And again, make sure to use that code NOAH. So you get that free $20 entry, and you also still get that 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. But before we talk through our props here for this Monday Night Football doubleheader, I do want to recap our plays from our Sunday video that we did for the Sunday slate. So gave out 3 picks for the full Sunday slate, went 2-1. Fortunately, couldn't get a full sweep, but we did go 2 for 3. So I guess that's better than nothing. The 2 plays we did hit on were Justin Herbert over 18.5 fantasy points, and then we also hit on T. Higgins over 6 targets, but sadly we missed on Quinshon Judkins over 9.5 receiving yards. Judkins has 0 receiving yards, had 1 target, but with his 1 target, he didn't catch it. He had 0 yards. Super annoying. I talked about it in the video, like the running back receiving yards can be volatile. I still really like the play, but it's just one of those props that it's tough to bet running back receiving yards. There's just a lot of, like I said, a lot of volatility. Guys can have 25, 30 yards. They can have 5 yards. It's kind of just, if they get a screen pass, if they get good blocking, you're not going to get a bunch of volume. Obviously, we weren't expecting a bunch of volume from Quinshon Judkins, but I thought he'd get at least like 2 or 3 targets and be able to get about 10 yards with those. But he only had 1 target. Wasn't really involved in the passing game like he had been in previous weeks. So we missed on Judkins receiving yards, but did hit on our other 2 plays. So still, hopefully, helped you guys out. Hopefully, you're able to make a little bit of money. But let's see if we can go 2-0 here for this Monday Night Football doubleheader. So talking through the first prop that I like in the Bills and Falcons game, going to look at a fantasy score prop on Michael Penix. I like Michael Penix for more than 15 fantasy score. Now, Michael Penix, we have now seen, I believe, play like 10 games in his career. He's played, obviously, 4 games this year, and I want to say he started like 5 or 6 games last season. I'm going to pull up his game log just to confirm that, but I think he's played about 10 games so far in the NFL. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about actually 7 games. He did make a couple of appearances. Like he played in a game against Denver last season. He played in a game against Seattle, but those were not games that he really played the whole game. I think he just came in for like maybe late in the game if it was like a blowout or something, because he only had 24 and 14 pass yards in those games. So clearly didn't play the whole game. But in the games he's played the whole game, he's played 7 full games in his NFL career. He's gone over this line in 3 out of 7 games. The 3 games that he has gone over have all been at home. And I really want to highlight that because the Falcons, they play in a dome. We typically see guys that play in domes, they typically do better at home. If you look at home and road splits for players like Alvin Kamara, Jared Goff, I'm sure there's other players that I can't name, but like there's a lot of guys that play at home. Their splits are just a lot better at home when they play in domes Kamara obviously plays on a dome. Jared Goff plays in Detroit, so he plays on a dome. Penix so far in the NFL, I know it's a small sample. He hasn't been in the NFL long, but he's played really well in his home games. You look at his 4 home games in his NFL career. He's gone over this line in 3 out of 4. The 3 games he went over, he had 26, 24, and 19.7 fantasy points. He's played 2 games at home this season, went over this line in both of those games. In their Week 1 game against Tampa Bay was at home, threw for 298 yards and a touchdown, also had 21 rush yards and a rushing touchdown, 24 fantasy points in that game. And then against Washington last week was at home, 26 pass attempts, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, also had 4 rush attempts, 2 rushing touchdowns last week. So Penix has had some big games at home so far in his career. I think this is a good spot at home against the Bills. This game has a relatively high total. It's got a 50 total. So the sportsbooks, Vegas, they're expecting this game to have some points scored in it. The Falcons, they're 4-point underdogs in this game. We know the Bills' offense is explosive. The Bills are a team that can put up points. So this could definitely be a spot where if the Bills are putting up points, it's going to force Atlanta into more of a pass-heavy game script. Could be forced to throw a little bit more. A lot of ways that we can get 15 fantasy points from Michael Penix here. I mean, if you look at his prop lines for Monday night, he's projected for 225 pass yards, so he's projected to get about 8 or 9 fantasy points, about 9 fantasy points from pass yards. He's got an 8.5 rush yards prop. We have seen Penix run a little bit this year. He's not known for his mobility, but he can scramble a little bit. Maybe he gets us a couple, some rush yards. That adds to it. He does have, I believe, 2 rushing touchdowns this season. I was looking at his game log last week. I thought he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 rush yards last week, so that's my fault. He had 2 rush yards last week. But this season, he does have a rushing touchdown that came Week 1 against Tampa Bay. Maybe he gets a rushing touchdown, but he probably gets at least 1 passing touchdown. He is favored to get a passing touchdown. Maybe he gets 2 passing touchdowns here. Just a lot of ways for Penix to get 15 fantasy points. Like the spot against the Bills at home, where Penix has had really good splits so far in his NFL career. I think this does potentially set up to be a game where we could see some points scored. We could see a shootout, obviously in a shootout type of environment, that's going to be really good for fantasy points when you've got points scored back and forth, which this could definitely be that type of game. So I like that as our first prop for Monday night. And then the other prop that I like in the Commanders-Bears game is going to be a prop on Deebo Samuel. So I'm going to look at Deebo Samuel's fantasy score as well, 15. I like Deebo to go over or have more than 15 fantasy scores. So Deebo, you look so far this season, he's gone over this line, and I believe 4 out of his 5 games with the Commanders so far. 4 out of his 5 games with the Commanders so far, he has gone over this line. It is worth noting one of the games where he went under against the Raiders, that was a game that Jaden Daniels did not play in. That was a game that Marcus Mariota started. So we kind of might have to take that with a grain of salt since he didn't have his starting quarterback for that game. But in the games he's played with Jaden Daniels, he's been really good. Jaden Daniels played in their season opener. Daniels played against the Giants. Deebo had 22 fantasy points in that game. Their game against Green Bay, Jaden Daniels played in that game. Deebo had 17.4 fantasy points. Their game against the Chargers last week, Jaden Daniels played in that game, 23.6 fantasy points. So the fantasy points have been very good in the games that Deebo has played with Jaden Daniels. The targets have also been very good. If you look at his target share in those games, the target share for Deebo has been really good in the games that he has played with Jaden Daniels. Week 1 against the Giants, had a bunch of targets in that game, 10 targets. Against the Packers, 8 targets. And then against the Chargers last week, 11 targets. Deebo has a 34% target share in the 3 games that he's played with Jaden Daniels. And we could project him for an even higher target share in this game because the Commanders are going to be without Terry McLaurin. They're going to be without Noah Brown. They're going to be without 2 of their receivers. Obviously, McLaurin is one of their top receivers. So this just sets up as a spot where Deebo is going to be in line to get a pretty good amount of volume. I mean, his receptions prop is set at 6. So for him to be projected to get 6 receptions, you would think he's probably projected to get like 8, 9 targets, maybe more. And if he gets that many targets, obviously with Prizepicks fantasy score being full PPR, if you can get like 5 or 6 receptions here from Deebo, I mean, that's going to be huge for his fantasy score because you get a point per reception. Obviously, Deebo can rack up yards as well. And they'll use him in the running game too. I mean, we've seen Deebo Samuel be used as a running back before. When he was on the 49ers, they used him a lot as a running back. He's been getting involved in the running game this season. Has had some games, with 19 rush yards, 18 rush yards, 9 rush yards. So Debo has a lot of ways that he can get fancy points here, expecting a big workload, expecting a lot of volume in this spot. And I think the matchup is also pretty good against the Bears. If you look at the Bears this season, they are giving up the 6th most fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers, which obviously that sets up really well for Debo. Can be used as a running back, but also mainly plays wide receiver. Just a guy that has a lot of ways he can get 15 fantasy points, especially with Prizepicks being full PPR scoring. So I like that as our 2 props, guys, for Monday Night Football for this doubleheader. Michael Penix, we're taking for more than 15 fantasy score, and Debo Samuel, we're taking for more than 15 fantasy score. So hopefully we can go 2-0 here. We can hit both these plays for Monday night. As always, guys, appreciate you watching. Appreciate your support on these Prizepicks videos. Make sure that you hit that like button down below if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button as well. And go check out Prizepicks, guys. Use that code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks, so that way you get those $50 in free lineups just for playing $5. But good luck as always. Let's win some money. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.